Thanks, Michael. Hey guys, Jas and Simeon here, owners of REC, and thank you so much for clicking in and getting more information on this investment property. What is this opportunity for members, Simeon?
Hello, everyone, and thanks again, Michael, for having us. We have a very, very exciting opportunity. It is one that has garnered a lot of attention in the investor community, in the media, and of course, it's one of the asset classes of real estate investing that is tried, tested, and true.
It's recession-proof, essentially.
It is recession-proof, and we're talking about the one, the only student housing asset class. Student housing has been the most lucrative asset class. It has been the stepping stone to real estate investing for, I would say, almost 30 to 50% of investors. And the reason for that is because it has the biggest cash flow, meaning you're retailing out bedrooms in a home, whether they're licensed or unlicensed, depending on your municipality's requirements. But student housing has been the stepping stone for many. And as I said, it's typically known to be the most active asset class. And what's so exciting about what we have to discuss today and what you're going to be taking the entire Keyspire community through is going to be how we turn that on its head.
Yep.
And we made the highest cash flowing asset class, the most active landlording asset class, into absolutely the most passive investment any of these Keyspire members or Keyspire member community will ever do.
Well, and it's important to mention that it is licensed, it's purpose-built student housing opportunity.
Existing.
So there's no forecasting of the numbers. It's a building that's been built for 7 to 8 years now. We actually know the vacancy rates. We
have the paper trail. We have tremendous data.
And we know how much the numbers have gone up. It's probably one of the main reasons why our friends Michael and Scott started out their investment careers with student housing. When you were speaking about passive, I have some exciting news, and you know what? I'll spill the beans now. It's for Keyspire members. You're going to receive a 3-year passive investment because the property management, the tenant placement is all taken care of for you for 3 years.
Not taken care of for you. It's first of all, it's free.
For sure.
So property management, tenant placement, reporting, everything is inclusive in this opportunity. And I also want to thank the power team. So I know how much time you've put into putting half of these professionals together. I know how much work I've done in putting this together.
No, they're all part of the Keyspire community. The lawyer.
No, but I mean, Kyle has been phenomenal. So Miller Thompson, thank you. The accountants that counseled them on this, the lawyers that counseled them on this, the property manager. I want to thank the entire team for making this offer possible to these members. And I truly, genuinely can't wait to see what the feedback will be from the investment community this round about. And thank you to the developer for providing us with the, we actually had to, we had to work hard to actually get this many units.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to hearing your feedback.
So you guys are going to be seeing approximately an 8 to 9 minute conversation that I had with the power team, Miller Thompson, the lady Steph Edwards, who's going to be doing the financing. It's a full turnkey.
Yeah, she's with RBC.
A full turnkey transaction, as well as Charles JQ, who is our partner, essentially in the streets of Kitchener-Waterloo, and who helped us with the exclusivity of this opportunity. After that, at any time, you can go to recwebinar.com to receive a full video of this handsome face again, going through the 4 ways to win in detail to show you not only the amazing cash flow, the principal recapture, as well as the passive appreciation.
And I mean, this is a deal that's underwritten by RBC, a Charter A bank. We have the best law firm, arguably one of the best law firms in the nation, taking a look at the paperwork. There is really not much left for guesswork.
Yeah.
Obviously, we want everybody to do their own due diligence.
For sure.
But I think you're going to be extremely pleasantly surprised with the return, with the amount of work that we've put in, and what the Keyspire community and what Michael and Scott have been able to put together for you guys.
Awesome, guys. Take care.
Be well.
Once you dive into who are the big players in the student housing market, you find that they're institutional investors. A lot of them are big investors like Oxford Properties, the Canada Pension Plan Investment Board, and they're heavily invested into student housing. You know that there's a guaranteed wave of demand that's coming, and with student housing, post-secondary enrollments just continues to increase across the board, and so there's this guaranteed demand, and that's what they like.
It's probably the most recession-proof type of investment, unless parents stop sending their kids to school. We know there's going to be a good flow of tenants always coming in.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a perfect way to say that it is recession-proof, because, if people aren't able to find, employment at the level or the field that they want, what do? They go back to school.
That's right.
There's also a great advantage when it comes to raising rents. As you know, the Residential Tenancies Act here in Ontario, if you have long-term tenants, you can only increase the rents per the guidelines. When you have new tenants coming in every year, you can up those rents to new market levels almost on an annual basis.
We know that with student housing, they're going to leave. And sometimes it's after year 2 or year 3, just because they want to be living in a different place, or they're getting with other friends.
They've graduated.
Yep. And to increase the rent, and I think you mentioned as well, Charles, that we're seeing increases in rents already in certain areas for rents.
In Waterloo, the rents across the board with a number of different developers are going up by 10% next year.
So now specifically talking about Kitchener-Waterloo, we have 2 universities, obviously Laurier University and University of Waterloo. What type of students go to both of these schools?
Well, I think a good way to answer that question is to point out a few of the programs that are really popular there, because they're some of the best in the country, and they actually have some world-class programs. So the computer science and engineering program's number 23 in the world, which is huge, because that's actually in turn attracting a lot of companies focusing on technology that are moving in and next to the campuses. And there's a whole discussion we can have about what that's doing to the economy and how that's further attracting more students, because they want to graduate from school and go to work at Google down the street or Shopify. Google's hiring at $150,000 plus signing bonus right now, plus benefits, and you get flown to California for your orientation. So it's a good incentive for students to be competing to go to University of Waterloo. Mm-hmm. Wilfrid Laurier has an amazing business school, one of the top business schools in the country. They also have one of the best math programs as well, and the co-op program at both of those schools is unparalleled. They have a great engineering program.
They've also got the dual degree, which is a math accounting, so you can come out of it with CMAs, and their post-grad program at both schools is unbelievable. And the nice thing about Waterloo is, like, again, to Charles's point, is, you've got Google. Google built the second largest office in North America in Waterloo, right?
And if you don't believe us, just Google it. You'll figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. It's right there. There's a pharmacy school downtown. OpenText is there, like Shopify, like Charles said. They have also just completed a light rail transit system that runs the whole corridor that can, it is like the state of an art, like 500,000 people.
Right.
And it's like a little mini Mountain View, California. You have 4 major insurance companies there. You have Sun Life, you've got Manulife, you've got Equitable, and you've got Economical, all in Kitchener-Waterloo.
And there's a condo boom happening in Kitchener just down the street because of all these businesses. You've got Gowlings that's building a new law firm right downtown, Kitchener as well. Like, there's a whole boom that's coming off of these schools. And you mentioned California, like Silicon Valley really got started because of Stanford University and the smart people that were coming out of Stanford. And that really shapes the surrounding area around any major university. Stanford is only 18,000 students. We've got 50, 60,000 students.
Between the 2 schools?
Between the 2 schools. You've also got Conestoga College down the way, which is also expanding. All the schools are expanding. And so you mentioned the LRT as well, Steph. So we're seeing investments across the board from the government. We're seeing investments from big corporations and businesses that are moving into the area, that are investing back into the universities again. Like Lazaridis Business School is Lazaridis from BlackBerry. Then you also have governments making huge investments. Like, if you look at the size of the city of Mississauga, which is what now, like 800,000,
yeah.
Right? You look at North York, you look at Markham, you look at Brampton. None of these cities have light rail transits, but Waterloo does. And Waterloo is like 530,000 when you combine Kitchener and Waterloo and Cambridge. So meanwhile, you have this huge government infrastructure funding project that's done. We're just waiting for the trains from Bombardier to get shipped in. They're going to start running any day now. And they connect the university all the way to downtown Kitchener. They connect to the GO train, which goes straight to Toronto. So we're an hour away commute, but on the GO train, they're going to be doing an express train ride. The previous Ontario government had announced the first high-speed rail line connecting Waterloo to Toronto, the first high-speed rail line in North America that would travel over 400 kilometers an hour. And
does that bring you into Toronto for in 40 minutes or something?
It'd be like
time that you're quoting, right?
15. Well, if you're traveling at 400 kilometers an hour,
right.
it'd be like 20 minutes.
25 minutes.
You stop at Pearson Airport and then Union Station. So you're a couple stops away from Toronto.
The specific building we're speaking about is 253 Leicester Street, which is a 5 to 6 minute walk to both of the universities. When it comes to location, the closest place to the universities get rented out first. Because I know, Charles, you'll make mention about, I think it's about 30 to 35% of the students are foreign students.
That's right.
Right? And so the reason that's important is that when they're looking at places to live, when going to those two universities, they want to be close as possible from a walking distance perspective. Does that make sense?
My sister-in-law works at the University of Waterloo. She works for one of the colleges there. And one of her jobs is to deal with the influx of foreign students who come in during the summer, and they also come in during certain holiday times of years. And that's their first choice, right, is to stay in an institutional place that's on campus, right? She works at Renison College, okay? I agree with you. The next step is somewhere that's close proximity, might even actually be closer than one of the colleges.
Right. And so it's a great point that you brought up, because the tenants that are moving into this building and the buildings next to it are second year, third year, fourth year students, right? So they've done exactly what your sister-in-law helps out with, and then they go look to, what's the next best place to live? I don't want to be living in the dorms. I want to go right outside. And definitely, as you guys can see on the map, Leicester Street is the spot to be at.
You're at Center Ice.
I love, you've said this to me before, right? I'm a sports guy, so I love that analogy. You're right at Center Ice. And so in terms of location, can't really beat it. Now, when we're speaking about the layouts of these units, it's 5 bedrooms. So essentially picture a 1,300 to 1,350 square foot unit. There are 5 bedrooms, 2 washrooms. Okay, each bedroom is being rented for about $670 a month, and which totals up to a little under $3,400 a month. Property management as an incentive right now, property management for the first 2 years is free, as well as you have a 2-year rental guarantee. So for some reason, if there is one room that's not rented, you don't have to worry about it as an investor, because there's a guarantee that's being offered to you as an insider and as a Keyspire member right now, that you have a tenant, no matter what, in all beds. Okay?
Yeah, and that's for peace of mind. But you mentioned that this group knows a thing or two about managing these types of properties. When you look at their entire portfolio going back, they've never had vacancies. Like the vacancy rate in Toronto is 0.4%, which is extremely low. Extremely low. Downtown Toronto, it's one of the most popular cities in the world right now. So the vacancy rate or the occupancy rate, let's say in Waterloo across this portfolio it's 99.98%. So that's like 0.02%.
Well, I love the fact that the building's been built for now about 8.5, 9 years, because we have these numbers. These are real numbers. We know that the vacancy rate is very low. But on top of it, we still get the 2-year rental guarantee, right? So it's just nice peace of mind. Guys, thank you so much for joining me and my team today. Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys.